The family structure or form a family takes varies according to the society in which it is embedded. Families today offer a growing diversity in both form and composition. For the next few minutes, I will outline 3 family structures and their relevance in society. The first, the nuclear family, is the standard that is used by which all others are typically compared to. Next will be the blended or the step family, and finally, the single-parent family. According to Lamanna and Reedman, the nuclear family, which consists of husband, wife, and children, remains the most common family structure in the United States. The traditional nuclear family model consisted of the husband as the breadwinner and the wife as the homemaker, and comprises only 7% of today's nuclear families. A more modified version of nuclear family today consists of either a 2-income family with both parents working, or in many cases, a role reversal household, where the wife assumes the role of the primary income earner while the husband remains home as the primary caretaker of the children. The role of fathers in the nuclear household. Married fathers are increasingly invested in their children's daily lives as they engage in breadwinning, planning, sharing activities, and teaching their children. Children's interaction with their fathers differs from mothers, in that typically fathers engage in more leisure activities with their children than mothers do. Studies indicate better educated fathers with more satisfying jobs showed higher levels of parental engagement, whereas fathers experiencing high levels of stress, including low levels of employee self-direction, adds to the father's stress, resulting in less effective parenting. Regarding stay-at-home fathers, due to the factors such as job losses, closing of family businesses, or wives who earn more income and do not want to send their children to daycare. Figures from 2008 indicated about 140,000 married couple families had a stay-at-home father. One of the greatest advantages quoted from the stay-at-home fathers was the joys of daily experiencing the little things that growing children say and do. And the most quoted disadvantage for staying home from fathers included the lack of status associated with parenting in some circles. The research benefits of fathers in a child's life include: father involvement relates to positive cognitive, emotional, and behavioral outcomes from infancy to adolescence. The role of mothers in the household. Mothers typically engage in more hands-on parenting than fathers, and take the primary responsibility for their children's upbringing. Adolescents of both genders are likely to name their mother as their closest confidant, but as mothers have entered the workforce in greater numbers, many men have been encouraged by their family's need and the redefinition of male roles to want to play a larger part in the day-to-day care of the families. In a study by Patricia Voidenoff, it was noted that women and men experience similar levels of work-family conflict. Weekly work hours, workload pressure, and the presence of children of all ages are significantly related to work-family conflict for both men and women. She notes for men, the conflict revolves specifically around work and family. For women, it also involves work and family, but it adds the dimension of weekly home chores that are relatively more important for women to complete. For both members, the amount of stress involved is directly correlated to the amount of control they are perceived to have over their work activities. Step-families are defined as remarried families with children of various types. The configurations include any combination of his kids, her kids, and our kids. And step-families are often described as having underdeveloped cultural scripts and incomplete institutions, as a result of the nuclear family being seen as the real standard for the family living, and all other family forms seen as deficient. This perception is largely due to what sociologists label boundary ambiguity, the state when family members are uncertain in their perception of who is in and who is performing what roles and tasks within the family system. Regarding children in stepfamilies, the majority of children in remarried households show few, if any, negative outcomes. However, considerable research has found that on average, stepchildren of all ages have somewhat higher rates of alcohol abuse and juvenile delinquency, do less well in school, may experience more family conflict, and are somewhat less adjusted than children in first marriage families. The role of stepfathers. Compared to growing up in a single mother home, younger children benefit economically from living with a social father, provided he shares his financial resources with the family. But his presence does not seem to improve adolescence outcomes when compared with living in a single mother household. However, the presence of mother's male relatives, such as the child's uncle or grandfathers, may be a better and more reliable parent figure than a romantic partner. Researchers found that middle-aged men of all social classes who at some point in their lives had become fathers were highly engaged with children, were significantly more likely to have altruistically oriented social relationships, and to be more involved in service organizations for the rest of their life. As of 20 years ago, more than 25% of the families with children under 18 were single-parent families. Regarding single mothers, today between 15 and 20% of all births occur to uncoupled single mothers, and single women dramatically more often than single men assume responsibility for child rearing. Many single mothers never intended to raise their children without a partner, but as a result of circumstances they arrived at this situation in various ways. As a category, single mothers are more likely to live in poverty than single fathers or married mothers. Single women become mothers while married or cohabitating, believing that their relationship will last, but have since divorced or separated. Others realized the relationship was not permanent, became pregnant, and chose to keep the child. Single mothers by choice have purposefully decided to raise a child as a single parent. Through adoption, sperm donor, or artificial insemination, studies are finding more and more European American women in their 30s and 40s who are from upper or middle class families with relatively high education have selected to be single parents. Increasingly, this decision is being made with the support of family and friends due to the reality of finding a partner is just not panning out, but still desires to care for and provide for a child anyway. Other women choose to become single mothers due to poor relationships with a child's father, and for the safety concerns of their children, or apprehension about father's illegal activities or their seeing him as generally unreliable, choose to separate and raise the child alone. Single fathers. Among families with children under the age of 18, approximately 4% are single father families. Of the 2 million fathers, significant portions are divorced, half have never married, and a small fraction are widowed. The majority of single fathers cares for just one child, but some are parenting 3 or more children. Single fathers typically assume the role because they have stepped in difficult and unforeseen circumstances. And finally, single fathers often know extended family support is available, but may not rely on it, reporting they feel they have to prove themselves capable.